Welcome to A&B Horror Movies. I'm Aaron, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be joined today by Jay Drakulic, Mallory Drumm, and Alex Lee Williams. Welcome to you all.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
Thank you.
much.
so much.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, we're so excited to be here.
Yes, you're very welcome. Me too. So I have you all on today to talk about your brand new found footage horror called Dream Eater.
The doctor said some time away might be good for you.
We're supposed to record any sleepwalking and what you remember from each episode.
Front door open.
Alex?
Come back to bed.
While people do sleepwalk, rarely do they lash out violently.
He's here. He's here.
There are other people seeing this thing in their dreams night after night.
You need to get out of that house. That wasn't Alex.
Alex, this isn't you.
I loved it. I think you've all created a fantastic, frightening, and scary new installment to the found footage subgenre, and you should all be very proud. And I can't wait to chat with you about it today.
Thank you so
Thank you
much,
so
man. That
much.
means the world.
I really appreciate that.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. So let's jump right into it. So my very first question for you all is, and I'm sure you get this a lot, but what was the inspiration for Dream Eater? And I have to ask this, do you all suffer from parasomnia?
Yeah, I think like the original idea kind of started as this nugget of like, how do we get people where they feel like they're most like comfortable, safest, and kind of like starting to tear that apart a bit. And, we kind of landed on sleep, like Jaws like changed the way you went into water and Psycho changed the way you took showers. And we were kind of like, okay, how do we change the way people go to bed at night, especially, next to their
Mhm.
loved ones and the safety of their bed and like all curled up and just really kind of tearing that apart. And that's kind of where the idea from Dream Eater started. And in terms of personally, like Jay used to actually sleepwalk as a kid. And Alex and I both suffered from night terrors. So there were definitely some like personal moments that we included in the film as well. But yeah, I'd say that was kind of like the impetus for the film.
Yeah, and once we started getting into like the actual sleep science of parasomnia, we were like, oh my God, this is like a fertile playground for us to
So
really
good.
start to ideate some very terrifying sequences. So yeah, it all just went together really, really well.
Yeah, so I love it. What a fantastic premise. And then couple that with a cabin in the woods weekend getaway. It's just a perfect combination. Let's see. So Alex and Mallory, you both are the leads in the film. So you wore many hats with Dream Eater. How did you become the lead actors? And would you do it again?
Yeah, basically we had two other actors, friends of ours in mind to play the role, and they were both union members in Canada. And when we had an actual rep read the script, I think they got 10 pages in before they started to say, like, okay, so you've got some stunts in here. And we were like, oh shit, like there's no way we're gonna be able to afford them because we had this very fixed amount of money that we were working with, which was around 50 grand Canadian. So we
Mhm.
knew basically the amount that would have taken to pay those two actors would have eaten up over our budget. We would have been over budget just to pay them, let alone have crew members there and everything. So Mallory and I, not wanting to wait to make the movie, it's especially in Canada, it's a very slow moving process to get films made. So we were like, okay, screw it. Let's just step into it ourselves and let's go for broke. Let's throw everything out at the table. We're not professional actors in any sense. So it was very much a scary process, but we've been best friends for over a decade. Jay, we've all been family for so long. It was just like, no matter what happens, just throw everything at the wall. And the characters, there wasn't any nudity in the film pre us because we were like, okay, well,
Mhm.
we know that we're not taking any money from the budget to act in this film. So let's do things that we know we couldn't have afforded if we were using union actors. So we basically, we took every scare and every scene where that does occur, and we were like, okay, great. What's the worst possible thing that could happen to Mallory in this scene? And let's do that. Let's put our bodies on the line in order to make the most effective scene possible.
Yeah, I love that. And the nudity works. It's not gratuitous. It adds to the fear factor and the intimacy of the two characters, and also the authenticity of the frightening things that unfold. No spoilers for those who haven't seen the film. Mallory, how about you? Would you say that is acting your new calling?
I don't know. I'd say acting is my new calling. I mean, like I've always had such an appreciation for actors and what they do, but especially going
Mhm.
through this process and to your point too, we were wearing so many hats that I think it was like it wasn't until we were on the way up to the cabin that I looked at both Jay and Alex because at this point we've been wearing our producer hats, our location scout hats, like all of them, and I looked at the both of them and I'm like, oh my God, we have to act tomorrow. Like I had completely put it so far in the back of my mind at that point that I was just like, oh my God. So I mean, like, I don't know if I
Mhm.
would do a lead role again. Alex and I always like talk about, oh, maybe we slip ourselves in there for some cameos here and there for like future projects. So I could see us doing that. But I don't know that I would do a lead again. And for any actor out there, God bless you. You guys are amazing and so talented. And especially when you're doing like directing, acting, producing, like it's a lot. It's a lot.
And I'm
Mhm. Mhm.
honestly, as somebody who was behind the camera 100% of the time, for me, it was, I'm really happy that kind of, as Alex said, a few things fell apart early on because I think the performances that both Alex and Mallory turned in were spectacular. And I'm just such huge fans of what they put into this film, not just as a creator from behind the scenes, but as a fan watching the movie.
Mhm. Absolutely. I mean, that sort of leads to my next question. The three of you are a powerhouse of a collaborative team, as evidenced by your film Dream Eater. Can you speak to what do you each bring to the table? What are your strengths, and what makes the three of you such a perfect team and work so well together? I'm sure you probably had some days where you were not speaking to each other. I mean, I'm joking, but what would you say are your strengths, and why do you all work together so well?
Well, I think, we've been doing this now together for over 10 years. It's been like 11, almost 12 years
Mhm.
now that we've been working as a collective. And honestly, like we learned very early on that we work better together and that we bring the best out of each one of us individually when we kind of come together and form Voltron, you know what I mean, so to speak. But
Yeah.
honestly, like to the joke you made, it's actually interesting because you would think that there's like a lot of kind of like compromises that are made behind the scenes, or that there might be some of this infighting where like, okay, like, we do have to separate for a bit because things are getting a little heated. But really, it's like, of course, like people will disagree maybe on an idea or an approach of how to get there. But the thing we always say is that ideas get stronger when they get filtered through each of us. If I come, with an idea, filter it through Mallory, filter it through Alex, by the time it comes back around, it's that much better, it's that much stronger. And because we all have such kind of distinct styles and tastes as fans ourselves and as creators ourselves, just when we come together, there's something about it that synergy that's really kind of it's got that magic kind of intangible component to it that really just works. But yeah, I think we all kind of it's interesting. Like we all really just share the load and the burden together, and that's why we always kind of credit ourselves as a blind luck moving picture. Like that's what it is. Like even our scripts, when we turn scripts in to studios or investors, it always says written
Mhm.
by blind luck because everything we bring to the table, it's like you take any one of us out, the entire triangle kind of collapses on itself in that way. So it's yeah, I think it's you know the one thing I will say for sure that Alex and Mallory bring that, I got a face for radio, them coming in and putting in these powerhouse performances really was something that I was in awe of, especially, being behind the camera. There's some scenes that they have that are like 4-minute oneers that are really
Mhm.
intense, really like dramatically kind of
So good.
draining. Yeah, man, and like they've got to hit this intricate blocking, and then there's the horror component on top of it. So I will say the added superpower that they have over me is they were incredible on camera, and I just can't wait to see them in front of the camera again, as well as work with them behind.
And when you've got someone like Jay pumping
It's
your tires as much as he does, like how do you not want him on your
Yeah.
team, right?
Yeah. He
right,
always
right.
he carries his pump everywhere. I will give him that. And Jay, Jay always says like, "Oh, they're the actors." Jay actually plays two roles in the movie. He's the voice of the Unresolved Mysteries host, and he's
Yes,
what's his name?
Jordan.
Jordan.
He's Jordan at the end on
Jordan.
the phone.
Wait for radio.
Yes, you do have your moments in there, and I was going to mention that. And I don't think I said this, but Mallory and Alex, you two are naturals and very talented as actors. So
Oh,
kudos
thank you.
and congratulations to you both, and you as well, Jay, for your parts that you do have in the film. So I'm curious about the creative process that you all have when it comes to screenwriting, because writing is typically a solitary activity. How does that play out? How do you have three individuals writing the same screenplay?
Yeah, I mean, like it always starts kind of with an idea, and then the three of us you flesh out that idea together from like start to finish. And kind of like what Jay says,
Mhm.
someone popcorns an idea, and then it's kind of like sometimes they land right away, and then other times it's like, well, I like this aspect of it, but what if we then add this
Let's
aspect?
push it further.
Let's
Let's
push it.
punch it up.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, how do we punch
Yeah.
that up? How do we push that further? Or like, and then or then it just lands sometimes. And then from there, once we have like the beginning, middle, and
Mhm.
end, or that 100-page breakdown, it then starts to kind of get more into like the nitty-gritty and the dialogue. And that's where sometimes Jay will kind of be the hands at the keys. And Al and I will then be like, yeah, that works, or like, what do you guys think of that kind of thing? And so it's always just extremely collaborative, like the collaborative mode in
Mhm.
um,
Final
Final Draft
is
gets used all the time.
it's
Yes.
huge. Like
Huge,
that
yeah.
tool
Yeah.
alone, it allows you to actually be there and everybody's able to contribute at the
And you
same
can
time.
see it.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
there's those times
Yeah.
too where you're like, shit, I can't actually describe what I'm thinking right now. Give me a sec. Put it down. Everybody's seeing, oh my God, somebody jumps in. Yo, what if we did this? What if we did that? And then it's like, boom, we've got
Mm.
that kind of like all three ingredients coming together to make that batter, so to speak,
Yeah.
right?
And with that, like, I mean, anyone who's writing alone, like, props to you too, because I don't know how you would do it. I feel like if I were alone looking at Final Draft, it would just be this cursor blinking at me.
Just taunting you.
Just yeah, but
Mhm.
we're getting to work with these boys and just like how smart and creative they are. Like again, like someone will start with something and then it's like, oh, fuck yeah. Okay, what about this? And then it just becomes so much more easier in that way. Like I could never imagine
Mm.
doing this without the both of them, honestly. Like I don't know how anyone does that by
And then you've
themselves.
also got the three of us doing individual research for something, right? So it's like, oh, yo, I learned this interesting fact. Okay, cool. Oh, how can we weave that into the story? Or there's this concept or whatever, this real life event that took place. So yeah, it's actually again like I can understand that for a lot of people and certain creators, God bless them, it's like you're able to just handle the entire thing solo and move it forward. And this industry
Yeah.
can be a very lonesome, when you're a creative, it can be a very lonesome kind of process. But I think
Mhm.
when you find those people that you're like, again, you're not making compromises. You're actually strengthening. And it's like, we, I think it's kind
Mm.
of intrinsic too to the art of filmmaking because at the end of a movie, it's not just one person's name. You're now seeing hundreds of names scroll up on that
So
screen
many. Yeah.
because so
Yeah.
many people came together to put the film together and they weren't just hands for the director because they just didn't have enough arms to be able to make the whole thing happen. Everybody comes in with their own artistry. So I think when you look at and you break down film as inherently such a collaborative process as opposed to
Mm.
say painting a picture or writing a poem, then you start to see that it's like, oh, like if you start from the above the lines perspective, taking that a collaborative approach, it pretty much
Yeah.
intrinsically weaves together.
Mm. I think that's a fantastic answer. The energy between you three is infectious. I would love to be a fly on the wall in some of your collaborative meetings. I'm sure there's a lot of fun that takes place there. My next question for you is about some of the very scary scenes and scary moments in your film. When you were filming those moments, did you think, "Wow, this is working so well"? And what were some of the challenges with creating those very scary moments, let's say?
I think when it's funny because sometimes when you're in it, you're like, yeah, this is totally working. Or like after the first take, you're like, yep, that worked and we don't need a second, or we don't have the ability to do a second because we're such a low budget movie. But it's funny, while we were shooting, especially when you're doing something so low budget and you're like really strapped for time, there was one sequence that I think all three of us knew wasn't working, but we were like, no, 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 it works, it works, it works. And it was the crawl space scene, which we
Oh
had to
yeah.
reshoot. We had to reshoot that scene because the way like we had blocked that out in my living room for months beforehand. We were like, yeah, this is gonna work. And then when you actually see it in the conditions, it just wasn't working. It was like, oh, this is missing like two whole beats. So we had already wrapped the shooting and come back. But while we were doing it, we are like, this is it, right? Like this is working. And then when we got back, we're like, it really just needs a punch up. Like it's not my
Mm.
performance wasn't just like creepy enough. It moved too quickly. So that was pretty much the only instance in terms of like those big scares. It was like, oh, and then actually there was a scene later on where Mallory like and not to spoil things when Mallory finds Alex on the landing, we'll call it. Um,
Yes.
there's a
Yes.
part
Oh
where
my
she
gosh.
there's a part where she looks up at the ceiling. So that was
Mhm.
actually shot like 6 months after the original scene, and we stitched it in the middle of a one take shot where our DP had to whip pan up quickly, so we cut into this whip pan up, and then he had to go around the
Yeah.
room and slowly come back into the doorway, and it had to match the speed of the previous shot that it was attached to, because so much of these scenes were shot in one whole take. So we actually had to splice in a whole other thing to make it look still like a single take.
Mm.
So it was probably like 75-25. 75, like, yeah, this is scary. This is the right feeling. This has the right beats. This is the right amount of time before you get our payoff. And then 25% we're like, I think that's there. And then when you're in the edit and you see it where it's attached to everything before and after, you're like, it's missing something. So when we went to reshoot, we redid that crawl space sequence to really let it breathe and to
Mm.
give Mallory the sense of dread and tension before the payoff.
It was funny though too, because like, I think when you're in it so much, especially as much as we were, like wearing so many hats, sometimes like you kind of doubt yourself. I'm like, am I creating something scary here? And Jay's nephew was on set with us, and Jay had just turned 16 at that point, and we called him the king of swing because he was literally on like every department. And especially Jay being behind the camera, like Alex and I would do something, and Jay would like go to his 16-year-old nephew and be like, "Was that scary? You found that scary, right?" And like we would
My
always,
friends watch
would your friends watch it? Like we would always be checking in with like our 16-year-old nephew to be like, "Is it scary?" And I think so too, like after every
Mm.
day that we shot, we would put an assembly cut of all of the footage that we did to make sure that we got it before like moving on. So at the end of every night, like I remember saying to these guys, I was like, guys, like this is pretty good. Like
Oh,
to Alex's point, like for
Yeah.
like 75% of it was there when we
Mhm.
initially shot during the principal photography days. And because we were diligently editing and looking over everything at the end of every day, we would kind
Mm.
of just like look at each other and be like, I think we've got something here.
yeah, and like honestly, like there were moments that, again, being behind the camera the whole time, like I got creeped out. Like Alex creeped me out a bunch of times, and when I felt those goosebumps, I was like, shit, this is working from a perspective of like I'm seeing the crew, I know where I am, I know what we're doing, but you still get drawn into it, especially with some of the night walk, like the sleepwalking scenes at night where Alex is like quite terrifying.
Oh
Um,
my.
I
Mm.
knew that when it was coming through, again, you're watching through the viewfinder, you're watching the takes back, all of that. But I knew when I was just almost watching it as like Dream Eater, the stage play, as we were moving through this entire location, I was getting creeped out. I was like, okay, we definitely have something here that's going to be effective from a horror perspective.
Mm. Oh, it's so good. Congratulations. Um, I also love the nods to some other classic horror movies like The Shining, Amityville Horror I picked up upon.
Yep.
Was that, I'm sure that was intentional. And were there other horror classics in there that I perhaps missed? I think
Oh
those are
yeah.
probably the two big ones, right?
Yeah, we densely layered references into the film like throughout. Amityville
Hmm.
was a huge one. I'll actually say something about that right after, but Black Christmas was probably one of our biggest. So the record that they
Yes.
find in the cabin, Filthy Billy Myers, "Stop Me" by Filthy Billy Myers. "Stop Me" was the original title of the script for Black Christmas before Bob Clark changed the name. Filthy Billy is a
Yes.
reference to Filthy Billy, and the lyric
Yes. Oh
song
my
by
gosh.
Little Baby Bunting, "Daddy's Gone a Hunting." that's all from what Billy says on the
Fantastic.
phone in
Yeah.
Black Christmas. So there was a lot of Black Christmas references, but it was
Mhm.
funny with Amityville Horror specifically. We were supposed to shoot a sequence where Alex is chopping wood on the edge of this mountain, but because of it was completely snow locked, we weren't able to get up there. It was going to take way too long in indie filmmaking. It's like you got to make your days. So we pivoted to this wood chopping scene, and Alex literally didn't know how to chop wood 5 minutes before we went to roll. Taught him how to, and dude, he did it better than James Brolin did
Yeah,
in
man.
the horror, like a total psycho, as his
Acting,
like personalities, like you know what I mean? It was
acting.
Mhm.
Yeah.
it was
Acting, yes. I love it.
you know what I'm saying? So yeah, there was a huge Amityville right from the scripting phase. That was a huge inspiration for us. But then when we
Mhm.
got up there, it was one of those moments where we were like, cool, we've got this location. The shed obviously plays a part in the film. And it's like, cool,
Yeah.
we'll have that as the backdrop. That was our DP's idea, but we'll really give it this Amityville horror kind of vibe. And I think it worked way better than what we had initially envisioned.
Mhm. Agreed. And so, I mean, your movie is fantastic alone. So for horror fans, they're going to love it. But the fact that you sort of have these Easter eggs in there as well, nods to some other classic horror movies, I think makes it even more appealing and more entertaining. Let's see. Would you ever do a sequel? Would you ever return to Dream Eater? Or do you think this is a standalone film and you're moving on to whatever's next, which hopefully is exciting?
It's a like if fans, if enough fans went out to see the movie and they wanted that, and the demand was clearly there, I think absolutely we'd love to revisit the universe. Currently, we've been pitching on a bunch of new IP that we're extremely excited about to Eli, to some other studios and everything.
Yes.
So our focus is honestly just staying on bigger, badder, scarier, staying in the horror space. Like we love horror films. We think the best drama comes from horror films. Some of the best comedy comes from horror films. It's just such an all-encompassing genre that has given so much
Mhm.
to us that we are so honored to be able to give back to in that way. So yeah, we would definitely do it if called upon. But until that call comes, we're gonna keep just trying to get that next thing going, and we're very excited about what's on the horizon.
Yeah, I love that. Well, keep me updated on your future projects. You are all welcome to come back on again. I would love to chat with you anytime. Let's see. My last question about Dream Eater is how can folks watch it? So, for those who haven't seen it yet,
Yeah, I think it's available right now on Apple Prime Video and Fandango in the
Yep.
US, I think.
Mhm.
yep.
And then in Canada, available on Apple and Prime Video as well.
Yeah. And we
Yes,
don't know the streaming yet. It'll eventually be available on streaming. We don't know where, but once, yeah, just keep your eyes peeled and hopefully it'll be accessible on all streaming platforms very soon.
yes. And no surprise, I'm all about physical media. Will we get a physical copy?
Absolutely.
Oh
Yep.
yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Yes,
Awesome.
excited about that.
Count
Yeah,
me in.
THS
this
has some extremely exciting kind of plans for what the physical release will look like.
The score
Yeah,
is currently available for pre-order on TerraVision. Blackcraft will be releasing some Dream Eater
cool.
merch, which is absolutely stunning. Hot Topic is releasing some Dream Eater merch, which is very, very exciting. And then I believe Alliance, I believe, is the company doing the physical media. I think.
Yeah,
Could be
a
wrong
lot.
there. Yeah,
Okay.
Alliance, but yeah.
Cool. Well, count me in. I can't wait. I'll definitely get a copy and maybe a few copies. Let's see. So
Yeah.
before before we started recording, I mentioned that I always do a this or that segment. It's usually kind of fun, and there's no right or wrong answer in most cases. So basically, I ask you two things, and you just pick one or the other. So for the sake of time, maybe we can just do Mallory, Jay, and Alex. You guys can just go in order. So the first one I have is the Blair Witch Project from 1999 or Paranormal Activity from 2007.
And like the first Paranormal Activity, right? That's what we're
The
talking about?
first one. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go Blair Witch.
Mm,
I agree.
yeah,
I
me too.
I honestly Blair Witch, man, that movie just holds such a special place in my heart. I thought that was real the first time I saw it for a while.
Oh my
Yeah,
God. Yes.
hands
Yeah.
down, Blair Witch.
How
Paranormal.
about paranormal? Okay, good. We
Yeah.
got Yeah, changing it up a little bit, but yeah, the Blair Witch Project. Remember that Sci-Fi Channel documentary that came out?
Yeah,
Yes.
we were talking
And
about that like the other day.
everyone
Curse of the Blair Witch.
everyone thought it was so real. Like, oh my God, terrifying. I was
Dude,
terrified. When I found
a
out,
thousand.
yeah, when I found out it was fake, it was such a letdown. But I
Oh,
still love,
Yeah.
I
do you
still love
remember
the movie.
they released? It was called like the Blair Witch Files dossier or whatever. It was that soft cover book that had all of the police reports and it had all of these like newspaper articles. As a kid, I was like, "This is real." I used to read that every night. It was dog-eared from the amount of
Oh
times
my
that I went
God,
through it.
do you still have it?
It's
That
literally
would,
in yeah, I have got it in a box in
that's
because we live in a
fantastic.
tiny apartment. Literally have it in
Yeah.
storage, the exact same copy.
Oh, hold on to that. No, I didn't get that. That's so cool.
Yeah,
Um,
it's super rad.
I'm gonna see if I can find a copy of it, maybe on eBay or something. Okay, moving on. Authors here, some horror authors: H.P. Lovecraft or Clive Barker.
Clive Barker.
Oh man. Alex, you go.
I'm gonna say H.P. Lovecraft.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's tough.
Honestly, man,
You got Jay.
honestly, like I'm a big fan of Drink Champs. At this point, I would take a shot. Like
Okay,
I think I'm gonna go Clive Barker. The Books of Blood are like,
so good. Yeah.
and like the Hellbound Heart is like genuinely one of
Oh my
like I read
God.
that once a year.
Yeah.
Like it's one of the
Mhm.
best books ever. But that was a hard this or that, man.
Yeah, I feel like the Books of Blood is material that we should have gotten more movies from.
Oh,
But
for
we did
Yeah.
get some series. But anyway, moving on. Okay, some found footage here: Digging Up the Marrow from 2014 or Lake Mungo from 2008.
Lake
Lake
Mungo.
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 Mungo, yeah. Okay, okay.
Mungo was just so eerie and it was so unique. And just the way that it was set up more like a TV special had me the whole time.
Yes,
And then like
so
the
good.
the payoff, but lack of a payoff is the payoff. And it just leaves you
Yeah,
like sort of without breath. I loved Mungo.
Yeah, it was honestly
100%.
one of the
Creepy,
creepiest
yeah.
and like bleakest. Like it was like,
Yeah.
man, there was things in that watching like Mungo, you're like, I don't think I should be seeing this. Like it really
Yes,
Yeah.
it
yes.
pushed some
And it's
boundaries.
it's
Yeah.
Yeah,
subtle. It's
yeah,
Yeah.
subtly terrifying. I
yeah.
completely agree. Um, okay, a modern one here with Hell House LLC. Well, 2015, that seems modern to me. Or Grave Encounters 2011.
Grave
Grave
Encounters.
Grave
Encounters.
Encounters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that one too. Okay, kind of a fun one here. Would you want to go on a ski resort vacation or an all-inclusive beach resort vacation?
Beach resort.
Beach. Beach.
Bring
Beach.
on the
Beach.
beach.
Yeah, beach because I
Beach.
can't
Yeah.
see. I like snow better.
True, right? You just drink the margaritas. Okay, some classics here: Psycho from 1960 or The Shining from 1980.
Oh.
Man, that's like being like peanut butter or chocolate.
I'm thinking I'm leaning towards Shining. I think I'm gonna go Shining. I
Yeah,
love
Mhm.
I love Kubrick. Like he's just
Yeah, me
yeah.
too.
these guys know, like, yeah, I'm
I'm gonna
obsessed.
plead the fifth. Um,
Plead the fifth.
I'm gonna
Both.
Yeah, that's another take a shot moment, but like gun to my head, The Shining I probably watch more often, so I'd say The Shining. But like,
Yeah,
good
it's
God,
more.
Yeah, but
Psycho
like
is
by
so-
like this
yeah.
much, you know?
I'm gonna
Yes, yeah.
I'll be the outlier again because I'm gonna go Psycho.
You
I
are.
love that.
Psycho. I love Shining so much, and it, like you said, it's such a huge inspiration for so much that we do, like even outside of Dream Eater. But
Yeah.
Psycho was a movie that shocked me to my core when I first watched it, and I watched it like as like a late teens because my parents didn't really like classic movies, and so when I watched Psycho and Janet Leigh dies halfway through, I was like what?
What just happened?
And
Yeah.
then,
That?
oh God, it's just so good, and I could watch it
Yes.
anytime, anywhere. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, a few more. Evil Dead 1981 or Evil Dead 2 from 1987.
Evil Dead 2.
Evil Dead 2.
Jay's gonna say, yeah, two. Evil
Two.
Dead
Two,
2.
yeah.
Evil Dead 1
Yeah.
is one of the greatest films of all time, but Evil Dead 2 took it to a place that was just
Uh,
like, holy
Oh,
shit.
yeah.
Like, it was
Evil
so
Dead 2.
imaginative.
Yeah.
Evil
Yeah.
Dead 2, I think, changed horror forever.
Absolutely.
Evil Dead
Yes.
1 did the same thing.
I was
But I
gonna
think
say,
Evil
yeah,
Dead 2,
yeah.
yeah, like Evil Dead 1
Evil Dead
changed
1.
horror
Oh, for
forever. But I think
sure.
Evil Dead 2 showed where we can go with it.
Yes, yes. Okay, this next one, kind of obscure films, so I don't know if you've seen them, but Dreamcatcher from 2003, the Stephen King
Oh, same shit, different day,
adaptation.
of course.
Yeah, okay,
Same
okay,
shit,
yes.
different day.
Or Black Mountainside from 2014.
I've only
Dreamcatcher.
seen Dreamcatcher, so I'm gonna say
Dreamcatcher.
Dreamcatcher.
Lawrence
Dreamcatcher.
Kasdan.
Check out Black Mountainside. I think you would
I'm going
all
to.
really like it.
Okay, I
And I
like that.
believe, I could be wrong, I think it's a Canadian movie, but it's set like far north Canada, cabins in the woods. They're doing like a research project. It's fantastic. I think you will love it. Um, okay, two more. They Live from 1988 or Event Horizon from 1997.
Oh,
Aaron's
dude.
coming with the big guns.
That we reference on a daily basis.
I literally have
Oh,
a
really? Oh my God, I
Oh,
chose
yeah.
well then.
I literally have a replica of the magazine, the Obey magazine at the
Yeah.
newsstand. That was, I think it was made by Rough Trade. It's incredible. It's an exact replica. Um,
I'm going Event Horizon.
Oh, I don't
Yeah.
know.
honestly, man,
I love I
I
love
Event
can't.
Horizon.
I was gonna say
Both.
It's
like
tough.
okay, both,
Both.
but if you
Yeah.
ask me
Both.
right now in this specific moment at like 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern, I'm gonna say They Live, but then like ask me at 1:05 and that might change.
Yeah, you're here to chew
Yeah.
to kick ass and chew bubble gum.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh my God. Well, they're both so great, so you can't go wrong with either one. My very last one here is the Halloween franchise, so all the Halloween films, or the Friday the 13th franchise, all of the Friday the 13th films.
Halloween.
Halloween. I think I'm gonna go Halloween.
Halloween. Yeah, Michael Myers for me is like the ultimate.
Yeah, of course. I do love them both,
Um,
but
Oh,
Those
love
are
them
both
both. Love
fantastic.
them both. Especially
yeah, yeah.
Friday 13 1 and 2 are like, but yeah, love Michael
So
Myers.
good.
I'm gonna go Friday the 13th because I have such a soft spot for Jason X in my heart that it like trumps everything. So I'll go Friday the 13th.
Yes, and we have the new series coming. Hopefully it'll be
Yeah.
good. Let's see. Well, thank you all for chatting with me today. Thank you for playing along with the this or that questions. Jay, Mallory, and Alex, congratulations on Dream Eater. My very last question for you all is how can folks find you on social media if you want to be found?
Yeah, our social is at Blind Luck Pictures, and if they want to follow the film, it's at Dream Eater Movie on Instagram. And then from it's pretty easy to find our personals from there, but we always want to direct people to our Blind Luck, which is the three of us. It's like our main one. It's where the fun
Absolutely.
stuff is posted. All the personal stuff, who cares about that?
Of course, of course.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, congratulations on Dream Eater. You guys have created something special. I love your film. If you're watching, make sure to watch Dream Eater as soon as you can. And if you've seen it, watch it again. And also like and subscribe because it helps my channel. And thank you one last time for chatting with me today. This has been fantastic.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much,
Aaron,
Aaron.
so much. It
Honestly.
was such a pleasure.
Yeah, the honor's all ours.
Yes.
So thank you.
I could do this or that for another 2 hours. So
Yeah.
if you want to do a special
They're
this or that
fun,
episode,
right?
Yeah.
We'll do like a
Yeah.
live stream this or that.
yeah, literally.
Yeah.
It's also so
Yeah.
stressful too, because you're just like, oh God, like what do I do here?
Am I gonna be locked into this answer forever?
I
There's
love
rooms
it.
that are like our
Forever.
top fives
Yes.
is actually like 25, you know?
Yeah.
Right. Well, and you don't want someone watching to be like, I can't believe you picked that. What?
Yeah.
Totally. Asshole.
Awesome. Yeah, never talking
Right.
to you again. All right, awesome, guys. Well, again, congratulations. This has been
Thank
so
you.
much fun, and hopefully we will talk again very soon.
Thank you,
Cheers.
Aaron.
Thanks, Aaron.
Really appreciate your
Thank
time.
you. Yes, you're
Goodbye.
very welcome. Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye.